a woman who uses my voice to empower other women and girls to discover the power in theirs. So I first met Michelle Robinson 27 years ago. We were both a little younger then. She walked into my office for a job interview, tall, slender, dressed in black, hair pulled back, barely a hint of makeup, put out her hand, looked me straight in the eye and shook my hand. And I thought, well, what an old soul she is, mature. And instead of describing her resume, which was on my desk, what did she do? She told me her story. And it's a story that we're gonna share with you right now.
As I end my time in the White House, I can think of no better message to send to our young people. I want you to remember that in this country, plenty of folks, including me and my husband, we started out with very little. But with a lot of hard work and a good education, anything is possible, even becoming president. That's what the American dream is all about. When I was a kid, my aspirations were simple. I wanted a dog, I wanted a house that had stairs in it, 2 floors for one family. I grew up with a disabled dad in a too small house with not much money in a starting to fail neighborhood, in a diverse city, in a country where an education can take you far. I had nothing or I had everything. It depends on which way you want to tell it.
Well, my first childhood memory of my sister is her being just a baby, that cute little chubby face that she had.
Michelle was more mature than her age from a very early age.
Straight A's, like nobody I've ever seen.
If she was gonna do something, she was gonna be the best at it.
Our dad worked a swing shift. In spite of his handicap, he got up and went to work every day with a terrific spirit. He inspired us to be successful.
I think my parents appreciated my feistiness, and I'm glad for it. It was a flame inside me they wanted to keep lit.
When she went to visit Craig at Princeton, she came home and said, I'm going to Princeton.
She also said, if he can get in there, I know I'm getting in there.
And she came back, that's the nice thing.
You're a lawyer now. At the age of 25, you have an assistant. You wear an Armani suit and sign up for a subscription wine service and go to step aerobics after work because you buy yourself a side. A senior partner asks if you'll mentor an incoming summer associate, some hotshot law student. Like you, he's black and from Harvard. Other than that, you know nothing, just the name, and it's an honor. Barack Obama was late on day one.
I was late. I had never taken a train downtown before. It was raining that day. I wasn't fully equipped with an umbrella. The bottom line is, when I walk into Michelle's office, not only am I late, I'm also kind of damp. So it's not clear whether I made the best impression.
So he's getting out of the car, and I remember Mom, you saying, ooh, he's tall. And then my dad said, too bad it won't last.
Yeah. Apparently, she'd gone through some boyfriends before me. Michelle Robinson was a tough customer. I viewed it as a challenge. It's like Excalibur, you know, only one person can remove the sword from the stone. But it was me.
When my dad died, it was such a surprise for us. So sudden. I was heartbroken, Mom was heartbroken, Misha was heartbroken, we were all heartbroken.
I stayed with him until he fell asleep that night, leaving the hospital in icy darkness, and by the time the sun came up, he'd be gone. My father had a heart attack and passed away that night, having given us absolutely everything.
That period in the 90s suddenly shakes up her world in some very challenging ways. I think leads her to step back and say, what is it that is genuinely important to me?
She wanted to be a mother so bad. I knew she wanted to be a good mother.
When Malia and Sasha were born, I was away 3 days a week for about 6 months a year, and it wore us down and it put strains on our marriage and the family.
She disliked politics, and I was a little surprised when she became what she became.
You probably suspected that this might be a phase.
Please join me in welcoming my little sister and our nation's next First Lady, Michelle Obama.
Here is where I felt like our family got launched out of the canon and into some strange underwater universe. I was getting worn out, not physically, but emotionally. The punches hurt, even if I understood that they had little to do with who I really was as a person. I was female, black, and strong, which to certain people translated only to angry. It was as if there were some cartoon version of me out there wreaking havoc, a woman I kept hearing about but didn't know. A too tall, too forceful, ready to emasculate Godzilla of a political wife named Michelle Obama.
I tell my story everywhere I go because I'm proud of where I came from.
We'd taken 2 young girls who hadn't chosen this life, and without thinking it through, we fed them into the maw.
There was a lot of parades, small town, going to get ice cream. We got so much ice cream. Oh, we were allowed to have
I don't think I've ever eaten that much ice cream.
No, never again in my whole life.
That's a lie.
But it was like in one setting. I would remember. I remember the night in Chicago. People were just so happy and just so excited. And it was just interesting because Mom was very calm. And I think seeing other people cry and scream in a way that highlighted truly how insane it was that just happened.
We'd leaped, and now, one way or another, we'd land. I lived in the White House.
I think people recognized pretty quickly that she wasn't my wife. She was Michelle with her own message, her own power, her own gifts.
I was beginning to realize here finally was a way to show my full self. We're determined to finally take on one of the most serious threats to their future, and that's the epidemic of childhood obesity in America today. We'd focused ourselves on doing more than trending for a few hours on Twitter, and we had results. 45 million kids were eating healthier breakfasts and lunches. 11 million students were getting 60 minutes of physical activity every day. We'd helped persuade businesses to hire or train more than 1.5 million veterans and military spouses.
People would send her a pretty clear message that, no, we actually might like you more than the guy you're married to, so you keep on talking.
When someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
We were the 44th First Family and only the 11th family to spend 2 full terms in the White House. We were, and will always be, the first Black family.
Her ability to inspire, to sort of think outside of the box. All of that was there before. So she was becoming that person the whole time.
I think I'm most excited for her to be proud of what she's done and look at how many lives she's touched, because I think that's the most important thing.
For me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as a way to reach continuously toward a better self. The journey doesn't end.
When I look out at all of these young women, I see myself. Your story is my story.
She helped me to see that it's something bigger than what you're facing and what you're going through. You know what I mean? That's very empowering. To be a light to others. And now I use the light that she gave me to be a light to others.
There's no one in this world who isn't allowed or isn't worthy of having the kind of life she's had.
I want our young people to know that they matter. Lead by example with hope, never fear.
Especially a lot of young women out there. They're trying to find their direction and their voice and feel confident about who they can become.
Know that I will be with you, rooting for you and working to support you for the rest of my life.
I'm an ordinary person who found herself on an extraordinary journey. In sharing my story, I hope to help create space for other stories and other voices. There's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in owning your unique story, in using your authentic voice. And there's grace in being willing to know and hear others. This, for me, is how we become